can you improve your process because you're not doing what Amazon is doing? Ask yourself the question, how do you make it easy on your clients?
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Dustin Harris.
Hi, all you wonderful, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Appraiser Coach Podcast. I am the Appraiser Coach, Dustin Harris, hanging out on the podcast treadmill once again. Thank you for joining me. I want to share with you an experience that I had recently that probably everyone within the sound of my voice has had at least a similar experience, but I want to bring it home and talk about how a bigger company like Amazon.com can actually teach us some lessons about how to be a great appraisal business owner. One of the ways you can be a great appraisal business owner is by being an Alamode client. If you're not already, check them out. Go to alamode.com or 800 Alamode. And of course, OREP Insurance is the insurance that I use and that you should be as well. It's orep.org. That's OREP.org. All right, folks. So, I mean, let's face it. We all use Amazon, right? We all hate it, but we all love it, right? Everybody says, "Oh, I don't want to support the big corporation. Don't want to support Bezos. I just want to support the mom and pop." But let's be honest, folks. Pretty much everybody within the sound of my voice uses Amazon frequently. I don't know about you, but I really do. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I use the word. Okay, I am. I was going to use the word addicted. That's probably a bit of an exaggeration. I don't think I'm addicted to Amazon, but I do think that the word dependent would describe me. I'm very dependent on Amazon. I will be honest with you, as I spend a lot of money over the weekend usually on Amazon, and here's why. On the weekend, it's my time to kind of catch up around the house, right? So I'm in the garage, I'm out back, I'm working on the boat, I'm out recreating with my family, and something breaks, or I think to myself, I really need that, right? I need that gadget. And rather than wait and drive to the store on Monday, I typically will open up my app. In fact, it's so frequent that I don't know if you knew this about Apple, but Apple kind of predicts what apps you're going to use. It will predict based on where you're at. So for example, when I get close to the movie theater and I open up my phone, it suggests that, oh, you might want to be logging into Regal, right? And so there's this idea that when you get close to something, there's this fence, this geo fence that pops up and Apple says, guess what? I think you want to do this. Or it might be the time of day. For example, in the evening, Netflix pops up, right? It must be time for Dustin's Netflix. And that's the way these things work. And so as a consequence, it's kind of annoying, but kind of intuitive as well, right? These big corporations, Apple and Google and Facebook and all of these companies and Amazon, right? They try to predict what you're going to buy to encourage you to actually go through with the process, right? And so this is going on constantly when it comes to, the apps on your phone or the way that we do things, the way that we live our lives. And so as a consequence on the weekend, and really, honestly, all the time, it's pretty rare that the 6 apps that Apple suggests and then they bring up on the screen, it's pretty rare that one of those isn't Amazon, right? And I think that's because my habit is that frequently I'm opening up Amazon and buying this and buying that. And let's be honest with you, I do it because it's easy. So long story short, the other day I had 15 returns, okay? And I'm estimating it might have been 12, it might have been 17, but it was somewhere around 15 returns. Now, I know that sounds crazy. How could you possibly buy so much that 15 of those items, a percentage usually gets returned, right? How much percentage? I don't know, 5% of the time I return something. That's crazy, Dustin. Well, the full story is these were for my short-term rentals, and we were setting up a new rental. And yeah, I bought a lot of stuff. Like we're talking thousands of dollars worth of stuff. So in the overall scheme of things, 15 was not that big of a deal. But to take 15 items to the UPS store, right, to return to Amazon was a little bit overwhelming. The bottom line was, and this is really where I want to get with this, the bottom line was it was super, super simple. I showed up within a very short period of time. We took care of things. It was easy, easy, easy. I was in and out literally in 15 minutes, right? Now, I went at a time of day that I knew would not be busy because I didn't want to be that guy that held up the whole line, right? So I went at a time that wasn't busy, let's say 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But beside the point, I was in and out very easy. To be able to return something to Amazon is super, super simple. I want to share what that means to you in your business when we get back from the break. But first, I want to pause and remind you that we're sponsored by a couple of other companies that make life very easy. One of them is OREP Insurance. Folks, if you've ever had to use your E&O, you know it's not a fun experience. But if you're with OREP, at least it's an easy experience. OREP.org. Check them out by going to OREP.org. That's OREP.org. And of course, a la mode. Very simple to use, very simple to set up, very simple to learn. If you're bringing this to your office from a different software, folks, everybody's scared of that learning curve. And let's be honest, it is a curve, right? You've got to overcome the changes that you're going to have with the new service, but I promise you it will be worth it. Trust me, it will be. What they bring to the table is awesome. I don't care if you've been using XYZ software for 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. I promise you the change will be worth it. Check them out by going to alamode.com or 800-ALAMODE. And welcome back to the program, everybody. Dustin Harris hanging out on the podcast. What do I call this? The podcast walking desk, the podcast treadmill. We'll call it the podcast treadmill for now. Welcome back to the program. We're talking today about the ease of using a system like Amazon. I used to say this to my wife all the time. I used to say to her, you know what? I hate Walmart. I really do. I can't stand going in there. It's huge. It's cumbersome. It's a pain in the butt, but I keep going back because of two things. Number one, their prices, and number two, their return policy. I don't have to keep receipts. I can just go in there. No questions asked. It's very, very simple. In fact, every single time that I went to a different store and tried to return something and they asked for a receipt and I didn't have one, they said, well, we'll just have to give you credit on your gift card. And then they would always question, well, how did this break? And what's wrong? Blah, 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 blah. And it just made it so difficult. I thought, why do I keep doing this? I want to be able to shop at other stores, but they make it so damn hard to do it that I keep getting driven back to Walmart. And I hate the process. Again, I hate going in there. I hate the people. I hate the systems. I hate I hate it, right? But they make it so damn simple that I keep returning to the process. I keep returning to the same store. And folks, the same is true about Amazon, right? Here I had 15 returns. I literally used a furniture dolly to bring in these packages, right? 4 different trips on a furniture dolly. And it was so easy. I was in and out of there in 15 minutes because I'd already returned it on Amazon. They had given me a QR code. I didn't have to box up anything. Well, that's not true. I had to box up one thing. For the most part, I was able to just go to the counter. They would scan the code. They would grab it. They would throw it in a pile and they would give me a receipt. That was it. 15 times I was out the door. It made it so easy. And guess what? You know what that does for me? That makes me want to go back again and again and again, because I know that if I order something on Amazon, it will be here in 1 to 2 days. Number one, if I don't like it, if it doesn't work, if it's not the right size, it's such an easy process to send it back. I go to the UPS store, I have them scan the code, send it in, right? They make it easy, easy, easy. Okay, Dustin, great. We get it. Right? We're Amazon clients too. You're not the only Amazon Prime member out there. Okay. All right. How does this relate to the appraisal world? How does this relate to your appraisal office? Well, I would just ask you this one question. How do you make working with your appraisal company easy? How do you make it easy to deal with you. Let me give you another analogy, and then I'm going to bring it home to the appraisal world. My wife and I have been remodeling our home lately, and it is a pain in the ass. And I will be honest with you, pretty much daily, we look at each other and say, why are we doing this? I sure hope that we love this when it's all done. This is really a pain in the butt. And folks, it's not just the inconvenience of being out of our kitchen, for example, when we have no cabinets and have no countertops and have no water, right? It's not just the dust that we pretty much have to sweep up every single night. It's not just the problems that we're dealing with because of the situation of remodeling. One of the bigger issues is dealing with contractors. I'm sorry to throw all contractors under the bus, but I'm sorry, I have not had one what I would call superior, excellent experience with any of the contractors that we have, with painters, with plumbers, with electricians, with granite people, with cabinetry people, with flooring people. Not one experience has been what I would call positive, because they won't return their calls. They won't get back to you. They won't show up when they say they will. Just this morning, this very morning, we got everything ready last night. It's Monday. We were up till midnight, making sure that everything was ready for cabinets to come in first thing this morning. Okay? First thing this morning, we get a call from the cabinet people saying, I'm sorry, we're not going to be there till tomorrow. What? Are you freaking kidding me? We've had this on the schedule for the last 6 weeks, that this day, the 28th, they would come in and they would do the cabinets. And here we are getting delayed again. It's a pain in the butt, folks. And I'm telling you, that is not the way to do business. Now, do I understand that things happen? Sure. But why not call us Friday and say, hey, by the way, I know we promised you Monday morning. Here's what happened. We apologize, but it actually is going to be Tuesday. Great. I would not have stayed up till midnight last night preparing the kitchen for the cabinets to come in that are now not coming until tomorrow, if they come tomorrow. It would not surprise me one little bit if they didn't come Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, or even at all this week. And these are the experiences that we have with certain companies. My friends, ask yourself this question. Are you that type of customer? Or excuse me, are you that type of company? Do you treat your customers the way that we've been treated by our contractors? And by the way, some people will say, why don't I just get a different contractor? Yeah, good luck. They're all like that. Really, at least this one is actually going to come at some point, right? We've been ghosted by 2. So frustrating. Okay, let's bring this to a positive note, right? My question for you is this: what are you doing that is similar to Amazon? Or better yet, how can you improve your process because you're not doing what Amazon is doing? Ask yourself the question: how do you make it easy on your clients? Let me give you an example. If you are dealing with, let's say, a homeowner that wants to get a value because they want to put up a for sale by owner, okay? How is it easy for them to order an appraisal? Can they do it on your website? Can they call you and do it as well? Let me give you a real life example of how it's not easy, okay? And sometimes we do this to ourselves. I'm not going to use any names, completely anonymous, but you know who you are if you're listening. One of my mastermind students in a recent mastermind talked about their process. Actually, it was a follow-up. So it wasn't at the mastermind. 6 weeks after the mastermind, we have a Zoom follow-up with just that group. So the group that comes to the physical meeting then shows up at a Zoom meeting for our accountability session. And at that session, we talk about their goals, we talk about where they're at, we talk about what their hurdles are, what they're still struggling with, so that we can make sure that they get all their homework done, all their goals accomplished by the next time that we meet. We meet every quarter. So halfway through the process, they might say, okay, I got goal number 1 done. I'm struggling with goal number 2, and I don't want to do goal number 3 anymore, and here's why, right? And so we deal with that over Zoom. So we were in one of those meetings, and one of the individuals, and I don't remember all the detail, but the gist of it was they had created a system where if someone calls to get an appraisal, they would send them an email that had a survey. Okay, so it would ask things like, how long have you owned the home? What kind of updates have you done? What's the reason for the appraisal? What blah 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 blah. And he had not yet implemented this, right? But thankfully, other people on the call said, you might want to reconsider, because here's the thing: if I'm a customer, if I'm a client, and I call you for an appraisal, and you send me an email, and now I've got to take 15 minutes to fill out a survey, hell no. I'm going to call your competition and go with your competition. right? I know that your process is to make it easy on both sides, but in reality, it's actually going to put more of a burden on your potential client, and they're going to go other places. You're not making it easy on the client. So here's your homework assignment, my good friends, my listeners. You're working on your business, not in your business frequently, right? At least once a week, you're taking time to do your on-it time. You're on it, not in it time. My question for you is, can you take the next on-it time? Can you take an hour, a half hour, 15 minutes, and sit down and say, where is it easy in my business for my clients? Where am I making it hard on my clients in my business? Are you the company that asks for a receipt, that asks why it's broken, that asks why you're returning it, that makes it difficult to return things so that next time they're going to say, screw this, I'll just go through Amazon or I'll just go through Walmart, who makes it easy to do returns? One of the best things you can do to bring more volume into your business is to make it easy on the client. Make it easy for them to spend money with you. Make it easy for them to deal with you. Make it easy on them from top to bottom. And I promise you, your reviews will be higher. Your volume will be higher. You will be the company that people look to that make it easy to retain and get value from the negotiations. Thank you for joining me today, folks. By the way, if you're interested in one of those masterminds, we do have seats available in all three masterminds. So currently we are in LA, Nashville, and online. If you're interested in any of those or interested in going to the VIP mastermind in Kauai this coming January, please reach out to me, the coach at theappraisercoach.com.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.